Hello, everyone, and welcome to SOLIDWORKS Live. Today's guests are here today to provide 3 sneak peeks at World, the big announcement areas to look forward to, a special preview of our tactical session agenda, and more broadly, other great ways to take note of when it comes to experiencing the best of simulation solutions and technologies at the event. Our guests today have 2 remarkably different backgrounds when it comes to simulation. Our first conversation is going to focus a bit more on usage and technique adoption, while our second planned conversation will delve deeper into new features and functionality planned for simulation users. Stay tuned.
This episode of SolidWorks Live is brought to you by 3DEXPERIENCE World 2025. Join thousands of designers, engineers, analysts, solution partners, and SolidWorks team members in Houston, Texas, from February 23rd to the 26th.
Srikrishna, welcome to our official 3DEXPERIENCE World sneak peek here on the SolidWorks YouTube channel. How's it going, man?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm pretty excited.
100%. Whenever it comes to simulation, I'm always happy to talk to you. And of course, I brought you on to offer this worldwide audience that we have here, preview what's to come when it comes to simulation announcements, technical sessions, and more as it relates to 3DEXPERIENCE World 2025, of course. That's coming up in Houston, Texas this upcoming February. But, I mentioned, we had a bit of a talk before we came on about the different topics we cover. And one of the things I said to you is it might be good to bring everyone up to speed. As we know, within design, simulation, manufacturing, there's a ton going on all the time at a software level. So, within your eyes, over the past year here in 2024, what were some of the key highlights as you take it, or newsworthy items as it pertained to simulation?
That's a great question. I would break it into 2 parts. First, in terms of the portfolio, the simulation portfolio that's now being offered as a part of 3DEXPERIENCE Works, it's pretty comprehensive, from structural simulations to fluid flow and thermal analysis, to electromagnetics, to plastic injection molding, to motion simulations. So this portfolio has been quite comprehensive. What's new this year is there are a lot of new capabilities in terms of preparing the geometry for simulation, overall performance, pre and post processing, really improving the user experience and expanding the number of applications that our SolidWorks users can address, leveraging the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. No doubt there's been significant increase in the capabilities that we are offering in the simulation portfolio. on the works, the works package. But on the other side of things, which is our customer awareness, customer engagement, that has ramped up quite significantly. In fact, this year, I'm very excited to share that we did Simulation Week in Latin America, in Australia, in Europe, in India, and in parts of Malaysia, where we had the opportunity to meet and interact with thousands of SolidWorks customers, and they're pretty excited about what's happening in the world of simulation, especially bringing the power of cloud simulation and all the amazing simulia technologies to the hands of SolidWorks users. So I would say that these are the two major highlights of this year, which is ramp up in the capabilities within the simulation portfolio and lots of customer engagements, and thanks to our channel partners and resellers, obviously, because without them, this would not have been possible.
That's super exciting. As a fan, I would say of meetups myself. I go to different industry meetups, not
Hmm.
necessarily because I work here at SolidWorks, but just because I like to. I find them
Right,
enriching. You never know what you're going to learn,
right.
whether it's about a given individual, an industry, a software package. Hearing that we've connected with thousands of people across these different sites, geographies,
Right.
that's really awesome. And I can say for anyone that's watching this episode today, of course, you're probably interested, if not already secured to go to 3D Experience World 2025. It's all about in-person networking, learning different
Yes.
things and so forth. But, we are, Srikrishna, of course, 3 months away, give or take, from
Yeah.
3D Experience World. This is airing in December, middle of December. I wanted to ask you, people know that this conference, when it was called SolidWorks World, as it's now known as 3D Experience World, they know that, especially day one and then bleeding into the rest of the days here at World, that it's really known for those big splash announcements. Now,
Right.
I know you can't spoil the announcements here, but can you maybe tease some things, right? Tease some of the big announcements or some of the sort of new things that we'll be hearing about simulation at World.
Right. Let me take a step back here. I think for me, one of the uh, big deals this year is that until 3D Experience World 2024, we would have domain sessions after the general session. So this would happen probably in the afternoon or so. Uh, these are exciting stuff when we are talking about design, simulation, manufacturing, and so on. But what would happen is when these domain sessions were taking place, you also have a lot of user breakouts. So majority of the users would miss out on the big updates being made in a particular domain section, be it simulation or manufacturing and so on. This year, for the first time, we are going to have a big multi-domain segment within the general session. It's going to be a 90-minute long segment from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday, which I believe is the day two. And simulation is obviously going to be one of the key pieces. So I'm quite excited about this simulation being part of this general session where we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll have a couple of customers come in, and also we are working on a skit, which I hope our Swordworks audience can find amusing. And the two customers we are showcasing, man, they've got completely diverse and completely contrasting set of products that they're working on. And that's all I can say at this point of time. But it's exciting stuff. I mean, one thing I can give away is that the two customers that we are showcasing, one of them is really pushing simulation to the limits by literally replacing physical tests with simulation and like accelerating their product development process. And the other customer is a mechanical designer who knew nothing about simulation 2 years ago, but because of SolidWorks and 3D Experience platform, now he's an advocate, a convert of simulation. So he's going to talk about unified modeling and simulation. So that's going to be the big deal
I
when it
love
comes
that.
to world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what can you bring people together that, at least as it's framed, these are people, two professionals from very opposite ends of that sort of skill an experience
Right.
spectrum, at least as they began. Um, and you sort of see at these sort of conferences where they can learn from one another, but also where, and maybe in some surprising ways, they might overlap. So those sorts of human elements, I don't know, I find, I find enriching again. It just, it definitely is sort of energizing. You mentioned, of course, we're talking a lot about how people can come together, learn about different technologies, learn from one another, learn about different industries, how to use tools to advance your own products, your own dreams, your own visions. One thing that I would like to get to greater detail with you on
Mhm.
here is the technical sessions, which of course we know within our audience. That's a big reason why people take time out of their work days to travel to, that one place where you have thousands of like-minded individuals and very skilled individuals teaching, whether it's in classroom sessions, hands-on sessions. So what can you tell our audience to excite them about when it comes to simulation there?
Sure. So this time we have quite a lot of exciting and wide range of technical sessions planned on the simulation domain, simulation topic. We've got a total of 16 sessions, which are going to be product briefings, where we will have customers coming in and presenting their use cases, presenting some of the challenges that they were able to overcome by leveraging unified modeling and simulation, some of the engineering and business benefits that they got out of leveraging our solutions. Then you will also have some of the Dassault Systems partners come in and talk about tips and tricks, especially for our desktop products, be it SolidWorks simulation, SolidWorks Flow, and so on. Then the third segment, which I'm actually very, very excited about, is the segment where we're going to talk about transformation of our standard SolidWorks customers or legacy SolidWorks customers into platform, and how simulation can actually be one of the key drivers or the first entry points into the platform. And we've got several sessions on this transformation topic, which are more domain focused, from structure standpoint, from fluid dynamics, electromagnetics, and plastic simulation, and so on. So these are all the product briefing sessions, which can be broadly classified as tips and tricks, which has always been the favorite for our SolidWorks attendees. And then the customer use case, customer case study such sessions, which will be presented by the customers. And by the way, we have some big names coming in for this year's simulation sessions. I'm not going to reveal all of them. And then third is this transformation session. So these are product briefings. Then we have hands-on sessions, which is a great opportunity for a SolidWorks user, irrespective of his or her expertise in simulation, to learn about simulation itself. So we've got 6 of these sessions planned, going from beginner to intermediate to all classes of users, covering different simulation disciplines. I think that's also, these are 90-minute sessions, so you get to learn a lot. So this is like a quick boost of learning regarding simulation. And the last is getting to become my favorite part, which is the meetups. So we've got 2 meetups planned, and one of them is focused on educating our SolidWorks users about why should a typical mechanical engineer or a mechanical designer consider fluid flow simulation in their design process? What are the benefits? And what should be the learning curve or learning path? And the second meetup, which I'm super excited about, is going to be a sci-fi themed panel discussion with all the customers who are present. So we've got, I think, about 5 or 6 different customers who are going to be presenting at these breakouts. So we're going to invite all of them to a panel discussion, but we'll make it fun with a lot of the sci-fi references. So that's the technical breakout for you.
Well, I mean, the reason why I say whoa, I think a lot of us can agree that when you're able to, you see a lot of posts on LinkedIn about this kind of stuff, right? It's like when you're able to kind of open your mind, and a lot of us are interested, have been interested probably since childhood in sci-fi. When you're able to open your mind up to
Exactly.
different capabilities, different possibilities,
Right.
perhaps some of those in some way may manifest in the future. Whether that
Yeah.
means picking up a new
Absolutely.
tool or trying something differently. So, like it's not all fun and games, right? Because you are exercising that muscle that is your brain in a way that will hopefully one day be productive and possibly even lucrative. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm really excited about that. So you're gonna have to tell
Yeah.
me when and where that
As
is.
mechanical engineers, we are geeks. A
Yes,
lot
of
of us
course.
are fans of sci-fi, right? So you will actually see simulation being done on some of the objects that you're familiar from the classic sci-fi shows or
I love
movies.
that.
That's all I can give away at this point.
All right, that's fair enough. Fair enough. So I wanted to ask you before we go. I've helped us navigate a little bit in a way that I hope has been helpful to you guys, our audience. But is there anywhere else that you're really excited to see simulation? I know we really haven't talked about the playground too much. I don't know if you want to talk about that or anywhere else.
So playground is what I've been dying to talk about because as you remember from this year's 3D Experience World, the showcase customer was Quargos, which innovated electric um, cargo scooter platform for delivering, first mile and last mile logistics. And that was all built on 3D Experience platform. And that was a simulation driven customer who adopted the unified modeling and simulation approach. So I took pride in knowing that, hey, it's a simulation customer who's going to be showcased in Playground. So that was my feeling last year. And guess what? It's the same feeling this year. So we're bringing in a Brazilian bicycle brand called Caloi. They have 120 plus years of rich cycling tradition. Both, in Latin America, they're quite popular from kids to, senior citizens. They ride their bicycles. They're known for mountain bikes, city bikes, and racing bikes. They have their own racing team, which I believe won several medals for Brazilian national,
Wow.
bicycling group. So cool part is they're a simulation customer. They have leveraged 3D Experience platform and SolidWorks for modeling and simulation, and they're going to be the showcase customer on this playground. I can't disclose much about what you can expect to see. All I can tell you is you will you will see two different products from this particular customer, and you will see the journey, their story, their incredible story, and the possibilities that are opened up because of the offering that is being given to the SolidWorks customer base. Be it our desktop products, be it 3D Experience platform, be it the legacy solutions coming from different brands. But it's going to be an exciting playground this year.
I think one of the things as I recall, and viewers of Live from last year will remember, speaking to the founder of Cargos, one of the things that I found, most inspiring about that was that, these aren't just as we showed. These aren't just museum exhibits where we get to see the products and then we see on the screen how the solutions were used in the creation, the go to market, so to speak, of the products, but you also get to talk to the founders. You get to talk to the engineers about anything, and that's the key to me. And like, yeah, software could be a part of that. Of course, it is. That's part of what we have in common. But being able to get other insights in other areas, I think, is really what makes the conference at an in person level special. So that has me very excited to see this, Sri Krishna,
Yeah,
for
in
sure.
fact, the guys you will speak to during your walkthrough through the playground, they are all sort of expert bicycle designers. So you
Ah,
get to hear about their design philosophy. How do they come up with a frame? How do they come up with a shape? In fact, this year we did a series called SolidWorks Cloud Simulation Champions, where we would interview, have a casual chat with different customers every month. So I think we did 7 or 8 of them. And these guys were part of that series. And we spent like 20 minutes just talking about how our bicycles built. Like, how
yeah.
do you come up with a frame design for a kid who's like 3-year-old versus, a 25-year-old adult who wants to, race on a mountain bike. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, there are certain keywords, bicycles, I would say watches,
Mm.
computers, a lot. Those are the sorts of things where if you mention that around someone who is a designer, engineer, or maker, you'll have them hooked. So if they hear that, I can think of all these people in my mind that are going to be making a crowd around these people. So
Yeah.
Srikrishna, once again, man, thank you so much for jumping on. I can't wait to see you in Houston.
Yeah, same here. Looking forward to meeting you. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. A quick editor's note here before we proceed to our next discussion on new features and functionality with Delphine. You can visit 3dexperienceworld.com to view all of our technical sessions today, including those pertaining to a favorite of many of yours, which is SOLIDWORKS simulation on desktop, something that we actually previewed during the countdown portion of this episode. Now, if you're interested in the latest enhancements there, my team put together a whole video on that recently, on improvements specifically in 2025, which you can view today at solidworks.com/what's new. All right, on with the show. Delphine, welcome to our official 3D Experience World sneak peek here on the SolidWorks YouTube channel. How are you?
I'm doing great. What about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah, we're here in December. We're just a few months away from 3D Experience World 2025. It's hard to believe. But Delphine, I mentioned I brought you on to offer our worldwide audience here a preview of what's to come as it pertains to simulation at the conference, be it with announcements or technical sessions, and much more, as we know, that's coming up at 3D Experience World 2025, once again in Houston, Texas, this upcoming February. You can go out to 3dexperienceworld.com. I can pitch it for days, but before we get to all of that, and trust me, we will, I thought it best to quickly bring everyone up to speed because as we know, we're in December, it's the end of the year, and a lot has happened here in the year 2024. So, Delphine, firstly, I wanted to ask you, what were some of the key highlights or newsworthy items within simulation within this year 2024?
All right. Thanks for asking. 2024 has been a busy but a fantastic year for the 3DEXPERIENCE simulation community. We've been busy and happy, I would say, if you want to summarize it. Our user community has been growing in many industries, and in companies that are designing from very large to very small product. If you think about high-tech industry, for example, with the miniaturization. So we met with many customers, which was great. One of the customer that just joined the community that I would like to mention is Elieco. Elieco is from Sweden, Europe, and they are a new user of Simulia structural mechanics engineer role. This company is designing and manufacturing precision craft strength equipment. When you go to the gym and you want to be healthy, this is what this company is doing. And they adopted 3DEXPERIENCE Works simulation, and they share with us that they can now perform complex drop tests on their bar directly in 3DEXPERIENCE Works simulation with a big time saver. And the opportunity they have.
So Delphine, it's like a pull down bar. Is that the idea?
Yeah, exactly. And when you think of that product, it's pretty simple. It's a bar, but when you discuss with them, you really discover the complexity of designing sustainable product, which is important for them, high quality from a material standpoint, and the strength of their bar. So that was really kind of eye-opening because sometimes when you look at the product, it seems really, really simple in our life, but the engineering, behind that is pretty complicated. So it was great to discuss with them because they've been able as well to really now use simulation during their design process to accept or reject, some design ideas, saving them, time and money. So I thought it was an interesting product to mention.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, as someone who uses those sorts of machines, as many of us do, I'm sure at given times, it makes a ton of sense. Like you said, an object that's just sitting there in physical space, not being used for any purpose. Of course, why would we run any simulation on it? But when we think about, like you said, the risk potential for injury in terms of its application of use, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, of course, you need to make sure, like you said, the materials are proper. You're putting them through real life scenarios so that we can understand that, hey, this is okay to be used in a workout and training scenario. So, no, that makes a ton of sense. That's really, really exciting. And it's good to know as a user of those devices, of course,
Indeed, right? So they
we are
say
testing.
that you can use it.
So, yeah.
So that was cool, to see that community growing with, again, different type of product. Then, I'm coming from Simulia R&D. From R&D standpoint, we've been very busy as well. We've been working tightly with this customer and the CRE team to enhance the 3DEXPERIENCE simulation portfolio for all domain that we support. And I'd like to mention 3 projects that we really work tightly with you guys. The first one is that we have investigated multiple designer-centric fluid flow workflow to strengthen the role called fluid dynamic engineer, which is delivering value for fluid flow simulation. And we deliver multiple enhancements in the result exploration domain for intuitive and efficient result post-processing, as well as the modeling aspect of fluid and solid domains. So our goal is really that any 3D customer that is designing a product submitted to fluid flow, so imagine an airflow or a water flow or any type of fluid, as well as possible heat transfer, can now assess the performance of his product with this role.
It's a
So
great
that's a
point.
D1 project, yeah.
I would say principally it's a great point because within the SOLIDWORKS community, and we know this because, and anyone can see this, right? The most viewed episode of SOLIDWORKS Live, even, our live stream series, is the What's New episode of SOLIDWORKS every year. That's been true for many years, as long as I've been around. And so it's very important to understand that, we're not just improving SOLIDWORKS, but we're also improving different capacities, like you said, within our flow simulation solutions within Simulia each year, which is not just an improvement to the software, but also an improvement to, of course, the capability of what you're able to test if you're designing in SOLIDWORKS or something else. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So that was really an exciting project, and I'm going to mention that a bit as well during the event, of course, as you can imagine. So stay tuned. Another project coming directly from the 3D community is in the edge matrix domain, and of course, more and more products are connected. So IMAX simulation are becoming more and more important, and we've been working to enhance a role called Simulia Edge Matrix Engineer, to include what we call low frequency simulation, because lots of connected product are working in what we call a low frequency. So we have a dedicated solver for that is now available to the 3DEXPERIENCE customers. So any customer designing high-tech product will have now the right solution for performance assessment.
Tremendous. Yeah. And like you mentioned, that's many products. I'm sure many products that are right near me right now are operating that way.
Definitely all around us. Yeah, exactly. And finally, let me mention as well another project related again to result exploration, because at the end of the day, this is why you do simulation, is to look at the result, the behavior of your product. And we have enhanced drastically the performance of result exploration on very large model on the cloud. So as you know, we are a cloud solution, and the cloud is removing hardware barriers. So any company of any size can benefit from virtual simulation. And with this new technology, which is called pixel streaming, our customer can now investigate very large simulation result efficiently from the cloud directly.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. You definitely had my interest when you mentioned that pixel streaming. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that.
Yeah,
Because
we will during the event. We're going to showcase many example of large model. Now, really, the cloud is helping us to fully democratize simulation for not only cloud compute, because often we think about compute, and that we do as well, but the post-processing aspect is very important as well, because that's why we do simulation.
That's extremely true. That is extremely true. Having delivered a lot of these presentations and also witnessed them, yeah, we typically think of compute in that way. So it is important to understand the post-processing sort of aspects. It's funny, we're going backwards a bit and thinking about how 2024 has gone and all the improvements and enhancements and developments that not only we've made, of course, in the software, but also that our customers have made in terms of using the software. Now I'm going to look forward, and once again, you don't have to give me every spoiler of everything, but we know that 3DEXPERIENCE World is often seen as a big sort of splash zone for announcements, announcements of new things and improvements, new features, new products, right? Can you maybe tease some of the things that we might be hearing about upcoming in February? Again, you don't have to give it all away, but just maybe some of the things we'll be
And we
hearing
keep still
about.
some because we don't want to wait for the event, of course, that we are all looking forward to attend. I really feel, because I've been, the 3DEXPERIENCE world for many years now, and I really feel that we are all coming to this event to learn, as you said, for new capability, the new tools that we're going to offer. Customer as well wants to do the user session to learn during the technical session, but they want as well to learn from their peer. They want to listen to them, and it's a big network event when you think about that, when customer they have the opportunity to share and learn best practices, to learn how their peer are tackling very similar challenges that they have. So for me, at the events, yeah, we're going, of course, to have some announcements, and I will come back to that shortly. But it's as well all about learning from customers. And so, one important session that I'd like to highlight as a preview is the session we'll have with customer on stage. We'll have the pleasure during the general session on Tuesday morning, to be with two 3DEXPERIENCE Works simulation customer to learn about the engineering journey and share with the audience how they benefit from simulation, so the other company can get inspired. And so the two customer, can announce that will be with us on stage. The first one is Caloi. Caloi is a major Brazilian manufacturer of bicycle and bicycle equipment, along with a motorized cycle. And when we're going to meet with them on stage, the studio customer will learn how virtual simulation is now becoming a key pillar of the engineering transformation for, of course, the current bike, but also to answer to the required transformation towards efficient e-bike. This company is well known for bike, but they have new challenges around battery, for example, to develop a new generation of e-bike, and so we'll go through that with them. The second one, I'm sure you will love it, because that's not a typical one. The company is called Seneca Dairy System. Seneca Dairy System is a full-service dairy solution provider, and you will hear about the design project from them and how Unify ModSim is helping them keeping the cow happy and making great milk. So just a teaser. That's not the usual engineering journey that
No,
you might think, but that's going to be fun.
that sounds tremendous. And e-bikes are interesting. When it comes to electric transport in general, I would say, especially nearby me, there are lots of e-bikes being used. So they're very popular devices around here. I'm sure in other parts of the world as well, but these aren't I remember they used to almost seem like science fiction at a point. But no, I see them all the time in different forms, different levels, different types of users of the bikes.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear about that for
Yeah,
sure.
that's going to be fun. And then, coming back to your point that we go to the event as well to learn about new thing. As I mentioned, we've been really focused on fluid flow simulation, and we're going to demonstrate a new way of performing fluid flow and thermal simulation with the role dynamic engineer, because from 25X MD01 we'll offer a completely new user workflow. We have kind of a revamps the way to use this role, working tightly with the cellular customer necessary team. So I'm delighted to offer it, for our user, and we'll announce that at the event.
Okay. All right. You can't show it now. I
No,
understand.
it will
But
come. It will come.
a new way of doing it. That makes me excited. So you mentioned, several times, and I agree, as you know, that this conference is largely a great place for people to come together and learn. And a big way that people do that, right, is through technical sessions. And I've talked
Great.
with other individuals here who are helping to put together the full slate of the agenda for 3D Experience World as it relates to the classroom sessions, the hands-on sessions,
Mm.
which, we've talked about, but also just once again, the full package, the full gamut, meetups. So what has you excited, and what can you kind of tell us about the tactical sessions related to simulation for our users here?
Right. So as you mentioned, this is of course an important why people go to the event. They want to learn, and the technical session are a great way to do that. And the agenda is full of sessions. So I'm sure that you will love all the session that are offered to you guys. We have lots of exciting session for 3DEXPERIENCE Works similar portfolio for all the domain. We're going to cover all the domain because the products are becoming more and more sophisticated, more and more physics are applied to the products. So we're going to cover structure, fluid, electromagnetic, motion, so all physics that SolidWorks customer will need. What I'd like to highlight specifically, this is what is called the master class on customer story. Again, coming back to the fact that we're here to learn and we're here as well to listen to our peers. We're going to have this here, what we call master class with customer, where customer will really go in more detail, about the engineering journey, the KPI that they had to answer. So you may remember one of our star customer last year was the company Cargos. Cargos is designing and manufacturing a completely new generation of electric cargo scooter for sustainable logistics. Last year, no, actually, this year, they came from India with one of the electric cargo scooter, and they presented how 3DEXPERIENCE simulation have transformed the engineering process. And they are back next year. They are, really our star customer. And so they will present us the transformation journey and the progress they've made. And during one masterclass, they're going to present the aerodynamic design and battery engineering of one of the new electric cargo scooter with unified mod sim approach. So this is one that, I can only advise you to attend. That's going to be really interesting. The other one, I mentioned Caloi, the Brazilian company. We have as well a masterclass with them when we go in detail about their engineering journey during a user breakout session. So definitely must attend session to learn from your peers.
Yeah, it's a joy, I would say, at 3D Experience World, and really just conferences in general. When you're able to see companies that you've seen before, or let's just say individuals from companies, whether they're founders, design engineers, whichever capacities, manufacturing engineers that they serve at their various initiatives or companies, and you get to see the progress, right? You get to see, and not only at a software level, but also just everything at a product level that they've been able to do and accomplish. And surely software is a part of that, but peripherally, and of course, at the end of the day, how we get the products made and how we're able to follow those stories is meaningful in so many different sort of domains. One thing I wanted to mention to you or ask you as we sort of close up this conversation here, I've kind of guided it a bit, talking about announcements and talking about technical sessions. So I want to just give you an opportunity to tell our viewers and hopeful attendees, of course, anywhere else that you're excited about seeing simulation at the conference. We haven't really talked about the playground too much, or really anywhere else, and we know we've covered a lot of the big parts of the conference that people know about, right? The announcements, the technical sessions, etc. But anywhere else you wanted to talk about here?
Yeah, it's a good point, and the event has many different way and opportunity, offer to the user to discover the different domain of 3DEXPERIENCE works. And for us here, the simulations, we mentioned we'll be on stage with Caloi and Seneca. We have around 20 user breakout and hands-on session throughout the events, where people can learn more about virtual simulations. So don't hesitate to register as soon as possible. And finally, I really would like to encourage everyone to visit the playground, because the playground for us is the place really where you can have passionate conversation, discussion, and we can demonstrate on the playground the different role and domain that are available for a SOLIDWORKS audience. So I think it's a great opportunity, of course, to attend the technical session, but as well to visit the playground, because then we have our colleagues that are available to have this discussion and exchange about, of course, your engineering challenges and how we think we can help you and support your journey.
The playground, in a way, there are so many things we could say about it. We're showing B-roll of it right now, just to give you a look at what it was like last year. There were many changes that are happening this year within it. But you can almost think of it in one vessel as a sort of long-running meetup, where you're stopping by a sort of hive of activity within a certain subject domain, and you're able to access talent from all around the world that do different things within that sort of subject area. And so within simulation, topically speaking, right, you might stop by and you'll find an analyst from a company in Canada, or a company from India, right? And so you're tapping into all these resources that, again, online in a forum space, yeah, maybe a little bit, via a Zoom meeting, maybe a little bit, but having thousands of those
Face
group
to
of people,
face, yeah.
yeah, it's like you can't be, anyone who's gone to a good meetup knows that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And you know
so
what is funny is that sometimes we start with this discussion, between the customer and the Dassault System employees, and you have customer around, and then the customer continue to discuss together and say,
I
okay,
love
you've
that.
you've seen that, and I love that because they get inspired and they share, the inspiration among them. So this is really, I think, one of the key value of the event, and I'm really looking forward to be in Houston in 2025.
Me too. All right, well, Delphine, we have a lot in common. I'm sure we could share things we have in common that I think our users would love. Again, just meeting each other, learning about tools, learning about each other, their processes. But once again, thank you so much for jumping on. I can't wait to see you in Houston.
Yeah, same for me. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I can't wait to see so many of you in Houston. Now, if you're like me and you have software interests outside of just this particular topic of this individual episode, just know that we're doing 3 of these sneak peek episodes. 1 for design, 1 for simulation, and as you can see here, 1 for manufacturing. So check out the SOLIDWORKS YouTube today for each of these episodes. Now, in closing, I just want to say, if it's the last time we see each other here in 2024, happy holidays to everyone. Stay safe. Please take care of each other, and I hope to see you soon.